All right. I don't quite know where to start. I guess we'll start with we're live from the production studio at Millersville University's radio station WIXQ 91.7. I guess we'll just start with the Eagles. Steven, you got your Minshew jersey on. He did pretty well in his start over Hurts.
Philadelphia debut.
Yeah. So what do you think of Minshew Mania?
Oh, I was very pleased with the way he played yesterday. He was completing a lot of his passes, making good throws, and he just looked like he was ready to take over for Hurts. I mean, yeah, the first half he had one incomplete pass, 2 touchdowns, 130 passer rating. Nothing to complain about there.
I mean, I agree. I think I'd say he did very well, especially for a backup. So he started in the pass for Jacksonville. He had some success there, statistically speaking. Obviously, not in record. And I think he showed that he has a good arm on him. But I'd argue and say the accuracy was not very good. I don't see if you might disagree with that. But in everything that I had seen, I unfortunately wasn't able to watch the whole game as I was driving back. But he was short on so many passes. And Michael, I mentioned that to you this morning. But there were so many passes that he threw that receivers and tight ends and whatnot were like reaching down to their knees to grab it. And I mean, you could argue and say that that's bad accuracy. You could argue and say it's good. It's just the arm strength. I don't know which one you want to go at. But I'd say he's a very, very good backup. But as of now, I don't think he's more than that. Hurts can't get the ball down the field very well, and he's struggled there all year. But he's improving, and I don't know. I think it'll be a big question there in the future what's happening. But besides that, I'd say Minshew did well, but he's still a backup. I mean, and that shows. He definitely had moments where he showed that he's a backup quarterback. I want to throw that as well. Minshew has a much better arm than Hurts does. But our offense, when we've had success, has been the run game. And that is a huge part of that has been Hurts. When the play,
because you don't know whether it's the running back or Hurts running.
Exactly, and defenses really don't know what to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
We still had a very good showing yesterday with our running offense, but I think with Hurts it gives us that extra element. And when he needs to really get a pass, usually he can. I think it really is just going to depend on what happens the remainder of this season with that. But it's very nice to know that we have a safety net in Minshew, where he can get us out there and get a win. And it's not like we won by a small margin. We wiped the board with the Jets yesterday, which we should have. But I mean, Minshew did well enough to win us the game. I'll take it.
Yeah. And I think it's always good to know that you have a good safety net. If God willing, if something were to happen to Jalen Hurts. But other than Gardner Minshew, what other I didn't watch the game, so I'm truly asking, like, what other good things would you say that came from the game?
Goddard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I looked at the box score, and Goddard had 5 catches, and he went off, which was, we were asking about that last week. You said, what happened to Goddard? And Steven goes, I don't know, but it looked like things were going pretty well.
I mean, he's making Howie Roseman look good, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But we got rid of Ertz. Ertz was a fantastic receiving tight end, which you want in today's NFL. But once he caught that ball, he didn't really have much fancy footwork. He wasn't going to make defenders miss. He could get another 5-10 yards, but most of the time he wasn't going to get more than that. Goddard yesterday, I mean, you would have thought he was just a really big wide receiver. He was cutting. His footwork was fantastic. He was making guys miss left and right. He was able to juke. I mean, you don't often see a tight end that can really do that, especially at his size. And he caught everything thrown at him. I think he's showing that how he made a good choice. He really knew what he was doing, which, I mean, you should probably make sure that stays recorded, because that is probably the only time I'll ever say that. But
I'll make sure to cue that up for freezing takes.
Oh yeah,
freezing cold takes on Twitter. But yeah, how about your buddy Jalen Reagor? What happened with him this past week?
I mean, you didn't really see anything out of him. He maybe got like 2 targets.
He had a few receptions.
He had a few. He just didn't.
More than he had last week.
He didn't really. He just wasn't a big key factor in that game at all. So there wasn't really much out of him this week.
Do you think that was on purpose that they didn't put him in as much, that they kind of made him less of a threat per se?
It's the wide receivers overall that you were really seeing. I mean, Devontae Smith hardly got any targets either.
Well, he was covered. I mean, he was double teamed almost the entire game because he's looked at as their best receiver. I know Watkins got a few. Watkins was good out there. He had a few different catches.
Most of all the completions I was seeing were either going with Goddard or Sanders.
Yeah, which is surprising because Sanders is usually not a very good receiving running back.
You said it's primarily Gainwell.
Exactly. Gainwell's very good
He was
at
out there too getting receptions.
Yeah.
It was like the Eagles that the Eagles have been sometimes in the past where a lot of the passing game just isn't the wide receivers, it's the tight end and the running backs.
Which is good because defenses don't know what to do at that point. You can block all these wide receivers you want, but you're not going to.
You can't double team everybody.
Exactly. If you're going to double team Smith, one other person out there is either going to have one person that they can beat, or they're not going to have anybody. And in this case, you've got all these wide receivers out there, and then Sanders is open in the field. And if you cover him, then Goddard's open. And no matter what you do, I think we're showing that we have one strong guy in each place, one really good wide receiver, one really good tight end, and one really good running back. Arguably more than one really good running back. Who do you cover? Because one guy's going to stay open. And when Hurts comes back in, if we hopefully continue with this game plan, who do you cover? You can't leave a guy. You can't take one of your linebackers and have them be a QB spy and cover for Hurts because then Sanders is going to be open, and then you're going to have Devontae Smith, and you're going to have Goddard. I mean, we're showing that we have a lot of weapons, and I'm hoping that we finally use that.
I was going to say, you have a lot of weapons. It's just a matter of whether or not you guys utilize them.
Yes.
Going into the bye week this late into the season, you kind of, I think, have a much clearer picture, obviously, of where you're at. Get some guys, the chance to get healthy and try to make a final run at the playoffs, knowing that you have to play Washington, 2 more times, right?
Yeah.
And Washington has won 4 in a row. And
Washington 2 more times.
Dallas
we have
once.
Dallas, and we have New York, who obviously we didn't play very well against.
So, I think you're gonna this week's gonna be very important. If the Eagles mess around, you guys are done for. If you guys take it seriously and look over all the different teams and really take a look at Washington, you could make a one final run at the playoff push.
Well, you mentioned injuries and getting guys healthy, and it seems right now the way that things have headed injury-wise, that Brandon Brooks should hopefully be back at right guard. I don't know if that's so much of an improvement because who have we had at right guard? It's been Dickerson, right?
I forget.
I believe it's been Landon Dickerson at right guard for a majority of this year, and he's done very well. You don't hear much about him, which is both good and bad. He's not screwing up royally, and he's not breaking the charts. That's fine. So Brandon Brooks is supposedly coming back. Cool. We're supposed to have Jordan Howard back. Jason Kelsey's been injured here and there, but he should be healthy. We're hoping. Miles Sanders, same ankle injury. Give him a week to rest up. Key players in our offense are coming back. On defense, we really don't have that many guys that are out or coming back in or whatever. Davion Taylor was a big piece of our defense, and he had surgery. He's done for the year. McLeod has been back in, so that he was out here and there for a while. So defense really that's staying the same, but offense we should be getting some of our key players back, which is we'll see.
What happened to Steven Nelson? He went out hurt too, which I wasn't complaining too much about.
He doesn't heal over the break or the bye week.
The Eagles, their defense was looking bad that first quarter and a half. He was a big reason why.
Yeah, as soon as he went out, look what we did. Second half, he didn't play, and we had the best half we've had all year.
Not a single point.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think the bye week needs to be a focus on Hurts' passing ability because it showed that when we can throw the ball, it works. The run game is great, but if we can mix that together and have an unstoppable run game and a pass game that can really get us where we need to be,
that's optimal offense.
We have an offense that can't be beat. And I think that showed that yesterday. Jets defense is obviously not great, but they're not terrible. They're not the worst defense in the league. I mean, we put up 40 points against the Saints with a running offense that should not be able to do that, and we're going and throwing against the Jets defense, whose secondary is decent.
Improving.
Exactly. I mean, I think it shows that if everything goes well and kind of comes together, our offense is good. Our defense is good. It just needs to work.
Well, yeah. I think when I'm thinking about this, I don't care if it's the Millersville All-Stars or if it's the New York Jets or if it's the Green Bay Packers. If you come out and have a good game, you have a good game, and that's going to build confidence. It doesn't matter who it's against.
Professional football. Every single person out there knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're professional athletes. Whether or not, like you said, they're on the worst team in the NFL or the best. I mean, you have the Vikings who had a stretch of very, very good games, and then they go and lose to the Lions who hadn't won a game yet.
I wouldn't say the Vikings had a stretch of good games. They had a stretch of close games.
Yes, but Kirk Cousins was having one of his better years of his career. He was looking very good, arguably. And they were showing that they were okay. Again, arguably, statistically speaking, he was having a good few weeks. Visually and actually, maybe not. But either way, the Vikings are not a terrible team, and they go and lose to the freaking Lions. You have the Steelers; they tie with the Lions, and then the Steelers beat you guys, which but they've competed with other teams as well. Like, it shows that in the NFL, anything can happen. A bad team is still not as bad as you think. They look bad to us, but they still have guys on the team that are playmakers and that can get the job done.
Yeah.
And I'm just to agree with what you're saying of, like, if you win well, you win well, no matter who you play.
Anything else? I really don't want to talk about the Ravens. Anything else?
How about those Ravens?
Okay, yeah, how about those Ravens? And
Steelers, man, they're good.
I'm going to take up some time here on a little rant. Where you guys pick, where do you want me to start? The offense or the defense?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson? Okay.
Sorry.
That's fair. That's fair. So, Lamar Jackson has not looked good since... He hasn't looked good since the Bears game. That's when he didn't play. What'd you say?
2019.
I mean, is he wrong?
Lamar, I mean...
Right now, he's one of the most inconsistent quarterbacks. Truly. He'll have a game where, what was it, a couple weeks ago, he was throwing for like 500, 600 yards in a game. It was insane. 600 yards.
Colts game, he
much, but 600 is a bit much. But like, it was what I'm saying, it was an insane amount. It was like 500 yards he threw for. And he looked like one of the best passers in the league that game. And then he comes out, and last week he throws 4 interceptions. And then this week he comes in, he throws 1 interception and loses the game. He just looked bad. That pass to Mark Andrews, I didn't say he looked bad. He just looked mediocre.
No, he looked bad.
Okay.
His problem is
I wasn't gonna really kick the dirt in your face. There,
you already have today. The problem with Lamar Jackson is, like, I don't know how else to say this, but the offensive line is awful. Everybody knows that. Stop holding on to the ball. He stands there in the pocket, and the last 2 games has been a huge issue with this. He just holds on to the ball, and it's like
it's glued to his hand.
Get rid of the ball. I mean, you're not doing anything standing there. It's like Ben Roethlisberger almost. Ben Roethlisberger was more mobile. You said that earlier this morning. I just don't get it. He is the most mobile quarterback in NFL history, and he hasn't moved in 2 weeks.
He turned into a pocket passer.
I think he's still standing at the 20-yard line in Heinz Field right now. I think he's still there. I don't think he's moved. He still hasn't moved. And the other thing is, when he does run, he runs 30 yards back. You're going the wrong way, man. You got to go that way.
He's getting too fancy. You need to run.
He's trying to play hero ball.
Yeah, north and south. Keep it that way. Otherwise, you're going to lose yardage, which he's doing every single time. He's also overthrowing a lot. That throw to Mark Andrews. Andrews was wide open. It was a 2-yard pass.
On the 2-point conversion, or the one where it was an interception? Because the interception, he underthrew it.
Well, yeah, that one he underthrew. But I'm saying the 2-point conversion to Mark Andrews, he overthrew it. It was a 2-yard pass. He threw it 5 yards. He's making mistakes. He's rushing himself when he doesn't need to be rushed. He's a playmaker. Run back 5 yards and then run out. You give yourself another 3 seconds to make a play. Not run back 5 yards, run back another 15, and then just say screw it and throw it and hope somebody's open. Because that's what he's doing, and it's just not working. And he needs to take a step back and realize and go, oh, shoot, I'm messing up. And fix it. Because he's going to completely ruin the season. That's going to be on him, not the rest of the team.
I mean, who else is left?
Wow.
I don't know what there is to say anymore. Other than that, the defense played. I guess you could say they played pretty decent. I mean, the run defense was good. Our pass defense, we were getting burned on every play, and if the one guy, Deontay Johnson, whatever his name is, if he could catch, we would have lost that game by 2 possessions. I don't know.
I mean, if your defense could catch a ball, you would have won the game by about 8 possessions. I mean, that was like you said earlier. That was bad. I went back through today and watched some of the plays back. There were so many missed interceptions.
I don't even think, except for one thing, there wasn't even really coaching. The coaching decisions, Greg Roman included. I mean, it wasn't awful. Like, they decided to go for 2 to win the game, and
see, I don't think that was a good idea. I disagree there. I think that was too risky of a move at the time. You have Justin Tucker, who's the best kicker of all time, kick an extra point and risk it to go in overtime. I get the offense had not played well that game, but there was a less risk factor in overtime because you could trust your defense to get the stop there. I think. And Steelers defense was tired, especially after the drive you guys had. I think going for 2 was just a bad decision. It was like, it was just too much excitement, I think, from Harbaugh. It was, we just marched down the field, we had a heck of a drive, let's cap it off with a 2-point conversion and win this game. But at that point, it should have been, okay, we're out of time, let's just get the extra point, and let's get our heads into the game for overtime. Instead, you guys lost the game because he just got too, I don't know.
Yes, he got too cocky. The coaching decisions were pretty good except for the one at the end, which was the 2-point conversion. That was terrible.
Okay, sorry. Earlier we had like that discussion on that where it was like back and
Greg Roman wasn't awful. The play itself, like Greg Roman, it's not his fault that we went for 2. It was John Harbaugh. Hey, Greg, we're going for 2, and he goes, oh, okay, let me put my dip in. And
it was perfect.
The play was fine. Lamar just overthrew him by like that much, and I mean,
everything worked out. Offensive line did what they were supposed to. Andrews was wide open. Defense didn't know what the heck was going on. But
so, I guess from that standpoint, you could say, hey, it was a smart decision. We almost had it like we should have, but I don't know. I think that in that game, I don't know. I just think that it's one of those decisions where you don't get it. It's everybody hates you for it. You get it. You're a genius. And, I mean, I don't know. I didn't like it at the time because it took us so much just to get down to that point. And now, it doesn't matter because you lose the game after some dumb decision. So
well, you've lost 2 division games, right? Because you lost to the Bengals and then
yeah.
You beat the Browns, you lost to the Bengals, you lost to the Steelers.
Yeah.
And that's it. You only played those.
Yeah.
You only played them each once, right?
Yeah. Okay. We play them each again.
So you got Bengals is in Cincinnati, I believe now, right? Is the next game there? Okay, and then Steelers obviously is home, and Browns is that one
away next week?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's next game. Well, Browns is winnable. Steelers, I think you should beat them at home. Bengals is your big one.
What do you think?
I have more hope than you do.
I think after this game, I honestly, looking at other Ravens games this past season with all these deer-bought victories, I just don't see it. I just don't see that luck playing out against a team like the Bengals.
Oh no!
Well, no, Bengals
no way.
Have no hope. No, Bengals game.
Yeah, that's no.
That's why I said 2 out of 3.
But even with the
Bengals,
Steelers, they proved that they
Yeah.
can't beat
that game was close the whole time. Like, it was like back and forth. That's why I don't think Steelers can last that again. Ben Roethlisberger doesn't have it in him. They had a little bit of an inertia going into that game.
Can the Ravens do any better? That's the question.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Steelers did it once. They can surely do it again.
I can't rely on the Ravens to do any better.
Steelers did it once. They can do it again. But Ravens have showed time and time again that they can have a very successful offense. It's just it needs to show
You're
up.
playing up against this Ravens team that just doesn't know what the hell they're doing.
But Bengals, I agree. Bengals are extremely inconsistent, but I still see no chance because they still went shot for shot with the Chargers, and Joe Burrow had a broken finger, and he still was able to just keep throwing balls like they were nothing. So Bengals game will be a good loss, but I see you beating the Browns. I just don't think they're competition. I truly don't. I don't think they're competition right now. Not with Baker. If they have a good quarterback in there, they're deadly.
But but as usual, the Browns were another team they beat, but it was deer bought.
Well, yes, this is true, but that was just a bad game, and that's where I think it goes back. You guys have just had bad games, I think, for the past few weeks. Like, it's just been consistently getting worse.
It's consistently bad. We are not a good team.
Well, I don't know. Would you say this week is worse than last week? You won last week, so like that is worse. But Lamar threw 4 interceptions last week, and threw 1 this week.
What did I say earlier? Only one stat matters: the final score.
And I agree.
We won, but it was still bad. Like I'm not going around saying, "Oh, we beat the Browns, yay!" Wow. We beat the Browns. We stunk. They just stunk worse. The Ravens stink. I don't know what. I'm sorry. Don't take this the wrong way. I don't know what you're seeing in them. I really don't.
I just all I say is that Lamar is a playmaker. And when you put him up against
playmaker for the other team throwing interceptions, taking sacks. He took 6 sacks yesterday.
All I see is a team that just doesn't have their crap together right now.
Oh, I don't.
They're a shadow of themselves. They're a shadow of themselves.
But when you have somebody like the Browns just they can't win big. I see you beating the Browns again. They can't. They just. It's obviously they're playing. You're obviously going to be playing out there, but I don't know. I can't see the Browns winning. I think on top of that, based on yesterday's performance, I can't see you guys doing the same thing. Lamar, if he shows up, you guys will do well. And we've said it time and time again that entire offense relies on him. The defense, they kind of come and go on their own. They just kind of decide when they're going to show up and when they're not. But, for Lamar, that offense, if he has a bad game, they all do. If he has a good game, they all do. So I think it really is going to rely on him solely. If he comes and has a good game, you can win out. I truly mean it.
I don't see a win out for this team.
No, I don't see it either, but I'm just saying from the aspect of you can. It's there. Greg Roman also needs to be a little bit less, predictable. But, beggars can't be choosers.
Be a little
there.
less on the team.
Well, yeah. But I can't see you being the Bengals, though. That is the one that I just think is an easy loss. Because they just absolutely humiliated you last time they played you.
In Baltimore.
My God, they just absolutely... Oh.
I'm just gonna tell you. I'm glad
you lost to the Steelers.
I'm glad you're more.
I'm more optimistic about the season than you are.
I'm glad you are because we need that right now because I think Steven sees exactly what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is an absolute joke put out on the field week after week after week. Our defense can't stop anything. Our defense can't stop.
It could be better though because you no longer have Marlon Humphrey. So it's an improvement.
Yeah, he hurt himself trying to punch the ball out, so that I don't think he'll be doing that again.
No.
But our defense can't stop a pack of turtles. Our offense couldn't go down the field if we were out there by ourselves. I mean, Lamar Jackson would still get a sack. He would still throw an interception somehow. I'm truly done trying to expect the Ravens to, last couple of weeks and even before we started the podcast, it was, we can win the division and, we're pretty good. We get to win every week. No, that is out the window. I'm done expecting them to. I have no expectation for them at all. They're not. I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs. And if they do, they're going to get absolutely destroyed. We might not win another game. Yeah, we might not win another game. We'll be lucky if we do. And that's that. I mean, I don't really know what else there is to say other than this team is the biggest bunch of frauds I've ever seen. I've mentioned the offensive line before. We paid the wrong guy. We gave Ronnie Stanley the bank, and we let go of Orlando Brown Jr.'s having the career of his life over at Kansas City. Alejandro Villanueva, he stinks. He can't.
He doesn't know how to do anything without a penalty.
Well, he can't do anything with or without a penalty. It doesn't matter. I think I could get through Alejandro Villanueva, and I'm not even 130 pounds. I mean, like I said, we're just a bunch of frauds right now. Our defense thinks we're all good. I just don't know where to go. I mean, everybody stinks, and we all think we're so good. And, Lamar needs to wake up. And I think what we're seeing from him right now is similar to what we saw from Patrick Mahomes to start the season, where Mahomes was putting a lot of just trying to do too much.
He was carrying the whole team on his back,
and he didn't need to. Yeah, hero ball, exactly right. And I think that's what we're seeing from Lamar right now. And he needs. I mean, I don't know. Last week he said, and I gave him props for it last week. He said that's on me. I got to fix it. Well. Fix it then. If you're gonna say you're gonna fix it, then fix it. Because he went and said, I'm gonna fix it, and I saw no improvement whatsoever last week at all.
The interceptions went down, but the playmaking was gone. Like you'd said, he stayed in the pocket. What happened to running out and making plays? That's the whole idea. That's why he was an MVP in 2019. What happened to that? Like you'd said, I agree with the fact that he did not improve. There was no change. He continued to make the same mistakes. Sure, you didn't throw to the, you didn't throw to the secondary and let them catch it, 4 times in the game. But you still just did. He didn't make good decisions. I think that's where it comes to.
We can argue whether or not in the Steelers game the 2-point conversion was a bad decision to go for it, but you know what? Greg Roman, for once in his lifetime, actually drew up a play that gave us a shot. He gave us a shot, and Lamar couldn't come through. Mm-hmm. And, you could talk about, Mark Andrews, people were putting it on him. He should have ran out better. He should have ran a better route.
His route was perfect. He was right where he needed to be.
It doesn't matter. But you're exactly right. But my point is the route he ran doesn't matter. He was over here. He was wide open. All Lamar Jackson has to do is get the ball to him, whether he ran the right route or not. It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, it's true when you look at it from the aspect of, a lot of professional quarterbacks, when you get into the red zone, you play backyard football. If your routes aren't open and you can't get open, you run around, you try to you have those drills in practice. as the quarterback, if you see a guy open, you need to get him the ball. Whether or not he's running that route you expect, you need to be able to know. And you see a guy wide open in the end zone, you just get it to him. It's not like Andrews is running out here and then cutting out this way and then going up. Like, he's running straight diagonally that way. It's not like it's a difficult thing to read. And he just overthrew it. I think it was as simple as that. He just...
Oh, yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. It's all on him.
Yeah, 100%.
You
Like
have nobody else to blame other than Lamar Jackson on that 2-point conversion.
Like I said earlier, it was a 2-yard pass. He made it a 5-yard. That was it.
He made an incomplete pass.
Well, yeah, but I just mean from the aspect of, like, he should have been thrown here, and he threw it to go all the way over there. It just... He screwed up. That's on him. He lost the game.
Yeah.
And he should know that, and he should sit with that, and it should fester, because he needs a bit of a kick in the you know what, because like you said, he's got to figure it out.
This year, again, you can talk about the injuries all you want, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's on the team, whoever it is that goes out there on that football field. It's your job to go and win the game, and we have gotten lucky 6 out of 8 times this year when we won the game, and all 4 of those games that we lost, it's there. You cannot make any excuses. You can't talk about the injuries to make and you can say that skill wise, that's why we didn't do it. But at the end of the day, you're all on an NFL roster. Doesn't matter if you're the first string or the fourth string. It's next man up. You got to go out and do your job, and we don't have guys that do their job this year. And I'm truly done thinking that they're going to turn this around at some point. I've in a sense, I've given up on this.
You can just hear it in the way you speak of them. You're just done. There's just no hope. And I get that. I think at this point it should just be a focus on, like I said, I think they can win a few more games. You guys are less hopeful than that. I just think there's still skill there. It's just whether or not it shows. But I think at this point it should be focused on, not that they need to screw the rest of the season. Obviously they should do their best and see what good they can get out of it. But it should be a focus on more of, all right, what do we have next year? Yeah. What is there to build off of? Because, there's not much.
The Ravens make the same mistakes every week. It's the same garbage every week. And this is now week 13. And we had our bye already. You cannot go out and make the same mistakes for 13 weeks in a row. You just can't. That is inexcusable. And like I said, that's where that whole thing about us being a group of frauds is, because...
Well, you had mentioned that back at week 5. That there was issues that they we noticed this, they were doing that, and you had said they need to fix this stuff now or it's going to bite them in the butt. They're not going to be able to play hero ball. Lamar Jackson can't carry the team for the whole season.
Can't do it every game.
He can't come back every single game and from whatever deficit they're in and beat. Who was it he played? The Lions, wasn't it? That they were beating you by a pretty good margin. You came back and beat them because it was the Lions. But you can't do that against a truly good team. You can't do that against the Bengals, as it showed. You can't do that. I don't even think you do it against the Steelers. They'll be able to keep you. Because, last night they showed it. You could possibly do it with the Browns, with Mayfield, but it depends on who shows up that day. But at the end of the day, you can't do that with many teams. If you're behind by a considerable margin, that's it. Do what you can. You can hope that they're going to screw up, that they're going to be like the Falcons. But, at the end of the day, it's good luck. Yeah, we have a bye week, so we can't lose or win this week. So I think that's a win in my book. I'm ready for it.
Just a chance to recuperate.
Yeah.
You guys can sit back and watch us lose. So speaking of that, what is your score prediction for the Ravens at Browns next week?
Since it's at Cleveland, like I said, I still have hope for the Ravens. In a little bit, it depends on what happens. I think it's still going to be a kind of toe-for-toe offense. It depends on the run game of the Browns. If Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb really show up and have good games like they did in last week, I think it's going to be a 35-27 Browns. Now, if they don't have a good game and your run defense shows up, because your run defense is one of the best in the NFL, if they show up and stop them, I'm thinking it's going to be more 14-10, you guys. And it's lower because if they score...
So, you got to pick one. Which one is it?
Pick one.
Then I'm going to go...
Score predictions work.
Well, I'm aware. I'm just saying.
So either the Browns or Ravens will win, and one of them will score more points.
I'm just saying from the aspect of if they don't have Nick and Chubb showing... Or if they don't have Nick and Chubb, that makes sense. Yeah. If they don't have Chubb and Hunt showing up big time, you guys will win. But I'm still going to say that based on last week's game, they're ready to go. I'm going to say 35... What did I say? 35-27, I think I said, or 20. I'm going to say 35-24 Browns.
Yeah, Browns had a bye week last week. Jeez, they've been able to go through that game with no other team on their mind because they came out of that game, went into the bye, and now they're playing us again. They've been thinking about nothing except us for the last 2 weeks.
And Baker's going to be healthier. He had a week to heal.
Ideally, yeah. I mean,
Wow.
I'm not there, so I don't know, but yeah, I mean, he's no. I'm not trying to sound sarcastic. My point is, he's so injured. You don't know if it's like possible to get healthy, to get like any better
He
in
throws
a
the
week.
ball and he seems to tear another muscle. The
Well,
man
yeah.
is insane.
So,
In a good way.
with everything that we've put forth today, I'm gonna say 23-16 Browns.
All right, so if you guys aren't aware of the Baker Mayfield cycle,
Yeah, we talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
so
Before the Browns game.
plays like crap.
Yeah.
Everyone says, "Oh yeah, he's trash.
bad.
You can't." Beats inferior opponent.
Yeah.
Calls out doubters.
Yeah.
So last game against the Ravens, you were like the play like crap cycle.
Yeah.
Now they're on the bye week. Everyone's questioning him.
Yeah.
And then we're at this point, beat inferior opponent.
Which is us. Yeah.
Which, the way Ravens playing, they kind of look like an inferior opponent.
Look like one. We are. You
They
can
play
say
like
it.
an inferior opponent. So I think that's what's gonna happen this
Yeah.
week. Baker Mayfield's gonna beat his inferior opponent, in which he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, Baker's good. What are you guys talking about?"
Yeah.
So I think this upcoming game, the final score will be 24-14 Browns.
Yeah.
Nobody gives any hope to the Ravens there. Even I said earlier that I have hope for them, but I just don't. I have hope for the Ravens, and I'd like to see them win, as I'm sure you would as well. But I just don't.
I don't care
if the
anymore.
running backs,
I don't care.
Well, yeah. If the running backs show up for the Browns, I just don't think you guys have a chance.
So yeah, Eagles have a bye, and Ravens play at the Browns. So, that wraps it up. Ravens stink, and they're gonna stink again. So
Actually, before you go, should we mention for next week with everything with going home and should be a
Finals,
little bit of
yeah.
a different format? Well, not sure if we'll get this out next week, same time, same whatever. We're gonna figure out. That's some plan we got to do on our own side here. I mean, we mentioned before we're college kids. We got finals this week, so should be interesting. But hopefully we'll get it out in time. We'll see. That'll be a testament for next week. We haven't thought about that too much yet.
Yeah, so that will pretty much do it for the third episode of Bird's Eye View podcast. And yeah, so we'll see how bad the Ravens play this week. I have no hope for them. And, Ravens flock, I don't know if they have any hope either, but I don't care. I truly don't care anymore. And because there's nothing that this team shows me that they're going to get any better. Eagles have a bye. Great chance for them to gear up here for the last run, for one last run at the playoffs or whatever. So, again, we appreciate the 3 people that will watch this, and one of them being Zach. So yeah, we'll see you next week on Bird's Eye View here on YouTube.